So we're just going to chop it up with Anthony. Anthony's a Columbus creative. He's somebody that I connected with recently in the last couple of years, and I've been really inspired by to really continue to push forward in my creative process as an entrepreneur. And so we're just going to ask him a few questions about his process. We're going to ask him about his career. So just give us a brief little background on who you are,
Sure.
Some of your inspirations.
Absolutely. So, Anthony Molden, from Dayton, Ohio originally. So I moved up here to Columbus in 2012 for more career opportunity after I graduated from Wright State. And I was a DJ, so I started around 2010 while I was in college being a DJ. And I was just, again, trying to figure myself out, whether I wanted to be in the corporate world, where I wanted to go with myself. So I moved up to Columbus in 2012, kind of grew from there. And now, things are rolling in the right direction. Certainly know who I am, and that's a little bit about, my background.
Yeah. So what did you study at Wright State?
So I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Like most people?
Yeah. I had no idea what I wanted to do when I went to college. My parents were just like, go get an education.
Right.
And so I went there, and I originally wanted to get into marketing, but my GPA sucked. I couldn't get the business school. So I ended up getting an organizational leadership degree,
Nice.
which was good. It was basically like a business communication, and kind of opened up the landscape to figure out what I wanted to do going forward. So.
Yeah, those leadership skills I feel like are huge.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you're in the military, right?
Yes.
So that how have you seen those leadership skills from? Let's make that connection from leadership to
definitely. So a little bit in my story, I gave you the baseline from I moved up here in 2012. So when I got here, I took a first corporate job working at BMW Financial Services, and I was in collections.
Yeah.
And I was ready for the big world. I was thinking all these expectations. I get to this job, and it's yo, this job's terrible. I literally just remember looking out the window should I jump? Should I jump? But it's only on the third floor, so I'll probably live,
break a couple bones.
Yeah, get back to work, clown. But basically,
but let's talk about that too. So you graduated college with an operational organizational leadership degree, and you have to go to a corporation and work an entry-level job where you're thinking about committing suicide and jumping off.
Alright, I was joking a little bit.
No, I know. No, I'm just because I worked a corporate job too, and that's how I felt after, you go to school and they say, oh, you go to school and you'll be able to get whatever job, and you start at the baseline job, and they train you for that job.
For sure.
So probably your organizational leadership skill or degree was null and void because BMW trained you what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
So
going through that process, I realized before that, I know my parents allowed me just to be who I was. They allowed me to be a kid.
What'd your parents do?
So my dad works at Honda still. He's been working at Honda for 30 years, so he's holding it down.
Yeah.
So I'm a Honda. All I've ever driven is Hondas.
Right.
And then my mom's a nurse.
Okay.
And so, really supportive parents. And so, when I never really made a plan. I'm a mama's boy for sure. I'm a mama's boy for sure. So never really made a plan until that moment I got my first career job. So I was oh no, this is terrible. This is what adult life is like. This is
what people do for 20, 30, 40 years.
I was freaking out. And so I kind of went through I would say almost a depressive state where it's I have to start making a plan for myself to push myself forward. And that's when I looked at the Air Force. Okay. And I was just I knew I wanted to go back to school. Ironically, it's funny because I ended up liking school at the end when I was going to graduate my bachelor's degree. So my last couple of quarters, I'm I like this. Right. And so when I got my first corporate job, I'm I think I want to go back. And so that's where the Air Force came into play for education purposes because my student debt was already high.
Yeah. So you went and got your master's?
I went and got my master's in business. And so I joined the Air Force. And it was a 6-year commitment, and I just felt it's not any worse than what I'm doing now. Right. And so I knew I wanted to grow and make a plan for myself. So the Air Force was really the start of my journey in building myself up personally to where I am now.
Okay, cool. And then how did we connect? I remember, we've known each other for maybe a year or 2 years now?
Yeah, when I moved, I was in Columbus trying to get in the creative community, and I saw Columbus Creates, and I had this interest to know who ran this, who ran this,
What was it about? Because I personally, I'm just now figuring it out, but like, what was that like? What was it like, about the platform?
It was like seeing it, and it was just like, wow, like we're getting creatives together, and I love that. I love connecting with people. So it's just like, man, who's running this thing? And I thought about even, maybe there's possible collaborations in the future. And I thought all these things. So I just wrote you in the DM. I was like, hey, can we meet up? And that's when you showed up.
Yeah, I can't even remember how we met, to be honest, but, thinking back on it, like, to the fact that we're here now, we've done an event together, and we've been able to collaborate, that's literally why I think I started Columbus Creates, was for me, too, to also connect with the creative community.
So I love the openness of, the platform that you created.
Yeah.
And and so like I just became really curious about it. And obviously we built a relationship there, but it was me just hit you up in the DM like, what's good, man? We want to meet. That was it. And then,
that's the beauty of social media, the power of social media, Instagram. I think that's also why our generation is also so much more open and aware. And into the creative space, because we see, hey man, we could just reach out to somebody that we are inspired by, or we see doing something that we can gravitate towards and build together. So I appreciate you. Thanks for hitting me up in the video. But so let's talk about our latest event. Okay. So we threw a Tupac event. We had the idea to celebrate and honor Tupac Shakur. Who, if you don't know who Tupac Shakur is, he's one of our heroes. I mean, he's one of the greatest musicians. I mean, great actor, great activist. Mom was, at Black Panther. So what sparked that idea, and how do we go about?
When Tupac died in '96, I had to be 7?
I was like 5.
And then the media painted a picture of him that he was just this gangster rapper, and so when I ended up looking back into his story, I found out so much about him, how interesting he was, watching his interviews and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, he was so much more than just what the media portrayed of him. And he died obviously way too young, but I just felt like, man, this guy's amazing, especially at his age. He died at 25. When I was 25, I was a mess. I'm 30 now, but when I was 25, I can honestly say I was immature. And so for him to have that maturity, I just had
to be on that pedestal.
Being that pedestal and being, culturally changing the world. I just felt so inspired by that, and I was getting into his poetry, all of his stuff. I was just like, wow, it would be really cool to celebrate him in the right way, to show people all of him, not just what the media portrayed.
And so I think we had a very successful event. I mean, we pulled it together in like 2 months. We met every day on Saturdays. Stoss, and we came up with the terminology of Vanilla Latte Boys Productions. So be on the lookout for more videos, more events coming soon. Columbus Creates by way of Vanilla Latte.
That's a little add-on hashtag now.
But, all right, so now we're going to go into some of your career. So now you're working with ECDI,
correct?
Which is a local economic development corporation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So let me step back a little bit to my trajectory of how I got there. So basically, I joined the Air Force, then I went and got my MBA, and I kind of fell in love with entrepreneurship and marketing. So I knew that's what I wanted to be, whether it was me on my own, helping myself, or helping others. And so eventually that led me down the path to ECDI, which is a nonprofit microlender who helps seasoned and new entrepreneurs, not only with the lending piece, not the funding piece, but only with the training as well. So we have a education, trading component, and then we have a lending piece as well. And so that whole experience has really opened the doors for me as an entrepreneur myself, and it's just been a great experience. So they help, they fill a gap in Columbus of helping really all types of people get off the ground, whether you're a refugee, immigrant, African American, doesn't matter who you are. Woman, we're here to help. And so I'm a business consultant for them on the training side to help entrepreneurs get further in their dreams and follow where they want to go.
And get started. Because as an entrepreneur, I mean, one of the hardest things is to start, like, where do I start? Business plan, marketing strategy. So figuring out the LLC. Like, these are all things, too, that I think are important, especially as we talk, you know, as black men, because we live in a society that usually we don't come from a background where our parents are in business. Like you said, your dad works for Honda, mom's a nurse. So getting into the business side of things is a whole different jargon. It's a whole different lifestyle, and so I think it's important, like, doing that work and educating and providing the resources for the community.
It's been honestly a blessing. It's probably honestly one of the best jobs I've ever had. It's given me so much confidence within myself, and then being able to see people grow and blossom under your wing, it's amazing. You know, I've had people come in, I've had conversations, and you just watch them over the months kind of stack on their skills, stack on their goals, and kind of get further. I mean, we've had, you know, we do really well with food, specifically local food. But, you know, for people to start at the bottom and then build themselves up, it's just so amazing to see. And so I'm happy, you know, to be there, and I'm so proud that, you know, I was able to be a part of that.
Yeah, and that's great work you're doing. So you definitely deserve to be commended, because I know working for nonprofits too,
it's tough.
You know, it can be tough. I hear a lot of stories about that space. And so we're going to transition over into your entrepreneurial story. So you're developing an app.
Yes.
Let us know a little bit about that app. What's the app called?
Sure. So I've been working on, and I do want to go back to, so, you know, people can follow. But while I was in my MBA, actually even further back to when I started DJing. So let's start there. So I started DJing when I was 21. I was in Dayton, Ohio, and I kind of did it on a whim. Basically because I realized that I cared about music more than the average person. And what I mean by that is basically, you know, in the iPod days, I would go to these house parties in college, and I noticed that everyone wanted me to put my iPod on, because I would spend hours downloading music and looking for the latest Lil Wayne, or, you know, the new artist. I had all the hits. And so when I put my iPod on, people would start dancing. And I'm like, I took a look around, and I was like, they're gonna dance to this, you know, just on my iPod, and they're gonna dance when I play the music. And so, like, that's how I got into it, and that was like my first entrepreneurial, you know, endeavor. And so that's how that started. But in Dayton's very small, and so when I was going out and trying to learn from people, you know, I kind of got shunned. You know, DJing
kind of outsider.
DJing is very
steal their shine.
Exactly. So DJing is a very egotistical, you know, creative art. And so, you know, at 21, you're hurt. You're hurt. You know, your ego's hurt. Your feelings are hurt because as a kid, you just want to learn something you're passionate about.
And you're not going in with the idea of like, yo, I'm competing.
I'm going like, hey man, like, I just want to learn with you, you know? And so I kind of got shunned, and so that hurt me, but that also drove me to do it myself. You know what I mean? So that was my first time. But I remember thinking at that time, like, why are people hating on me just because I want to learn something I like? So let's fast forward to my MBA. So we're in an MBA class. I think it's a marketing or entrepreneurship class. And we start talking about a business. And, you know, if you were to start your own business, what would you do? And so that thought when I was 21 and how hurt I was by that. It hurt my feelings. You know? So that idea kind of sparked again. And so basically, you know, our instructor or professor was saying, you know, how do you start a business? You write a business plan. So I go home that night, I open up a business plan template. You know, I Google business plan, open up a template, I just start typing. Literally, literally, next you know, I literally had 10 pages. You know, within probably that night, about 2 a.m. I was up. This time I was like, wow, this is good. It kept getting better. It kept getting better, flowing. And so basically, I showed my best friend, and he was like, bro, you gotta start this. I'm like, okay. So I just started. So that was about 4 years ago. But fast forward to now, basically what it is, what it has come to is it's an app for creatives to collaborate, essentially. And so it has been refined over the 4 years, but basically I want to create a platform that's authentic and creates human connection that starts in the digital world, because we're all on the digital platform. But I want it to end up to be authentic and real people that you can rely on, you know? And so the whole platform is based around that. And, you know, there's a lot more details that you're gonna come to see soon. And so where we're at right now, you know, the app, we have a beta app we're wrapping up. Me and my business partner, Alfredo Weeks, Love you, man. I got to shout you out on this.
Fredo, DC.
Yeah, Fredo, DC. So that's my boy. And, we're going to roll this out next month to allow a limited number of users to test it out. And so we have a lot of things coming. Really excited about it. And just stay tuned to see. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where we are now. We went to go see a venture capitalist yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to run up on. We also, I mean, being an entrepreneur, you kind of got to be gritty. You got to be hungry. You got to be, kind of unorthodox in how you do things. And so I recently made some connections, and yesterday we decided to run up on the VC company and tell them we was here, let them know that the app is coming. So we were able to make a really good connection with one of the partners there at Loud Capital. And so that also, I think, is another, thing that we could talk about in terms of the process and how you go about doing things, in this space. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of your processes? And
how I've grown the platform up to what it is now.
Yeah.
Still so much to go, but
right.
To even get to this point is a blessing. They say a lot of startups fail before they even get to a point, so to even be here is
to even have a beta that you're really thinking about.
It's a testament to our team. It's a testament to me, and really showing. So I think what I've learned, and I've learned so much over the past 4 years about the entrepreneurship characteristics and the character you have to have. I would say the process is never run into a dead end. And I say that because it's like, I remember for finding Alfredo now, I remember having to try so many things. He was like on the back end.
Right. Even different partners, right?
Yeah, so I've had 3 different business partners before Alfredo. I went through 2 or 3 developers before I got the one I have now.
Right.
And so what I always say is keep an open mind and never let that idea die. And so you always have to have ideas coming out within the idea. So how do you get this? Or how do you do that? I always start with a question. So if I'm asking myself a question, I know I'm gonna get an answer, and I know I'm gonna learn. And I know that sounds crazy, but it motivates me to go try over and over again. And because really that's what entrepreneurship is. It's trial and error over and over again. Yeah. And so within that, the 2 characteristics I would say that you have to have is patience and perseverance. Those 2 things are so important. Never give up. Passion, of course. But I mean, I think, what's exciting for me is I was so excited when I first started.
Right.
I was so excited.
And then you get so high.
But that eventually could burn out if you're not moving forward. The perseverance and the patience to learn and step back and kind of keep continuously learning really has pushed me forward that, okay, that doesn't work out. Okay, how can I fix that? Okay, how can I do this? Or who else do I need to talk to? It's kind of putting the pieces together. The other important thing I think is putting a team around you. I mean, I've heard that entrepreneurship books for years. I've read plenty. And you think, oh, you know what? I can do this by myself, and I've done a lot by myself, but putting the right people around you that believe in you and believe in what you're creating is so important. And I finally feel like I'm getting that now. I'm getting the people around me that cheer me on, and that you need that so much. But but I always say the last thing I'll say in regards to patience and perseverance is the fear of failure. And that's always brought up as a topic, but you can't allow people to project things onto you. And everyone has that self-doubt in their head. You know what I mean? That voice that always comes back and it's always there. You never get rid of it.
And just because they don't think they can do something, they don't think you can do something.
Yes. And so you have to talk that down, and you have to build yourself up. So I've learned to treat myself well. That's exercising. That's eating well. That's meditating. That's reading a lot of books.
Positive affirmations. Positive self-talk.
Yeah, and so you really have to build those characters because naturally, and I think most of society is not a patient society. So patience is something I had to learn.
Oh yeah.
I had to learn patience. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on it because I don't think in America we don't need to be patient.
Right. I mean, we get anything. Well, if you had money, you could get the app done, you could buy the team, you could buy the resources.
Exactly. And so I really, that's something I had to learn, but I guess I have one more. You have to look inside. You have to look inside yourself and examine yourself. What am I good at? Where's my interest?
Introspective.
Where are my weaknesses? And so I've had to look at, I'm very good at, communicating, connecting with people, but I'm not good at like numbers. Like I suck at numbers. And so I know I need someone on my team to kind of help on that eventually.
Right.
But I'm not a coder.
Right.
I need a coder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Branding is not my expertise. Fredo's the branding, really the guru.
Design,
and so he has the design aspect.
Yeah.
So you have to look at what you need and the time you need it and go after that, and just be hyper focused on one thing at a time. So
cool. And so just to wrap it up, we're gonna ask you, what are your, let's say, your 5 to 10 year goals or plans, maybe for the app, maybe for DJing.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap it up with what are some of your, let's say, your top 5 business entrepreneurial books that have helped you get to this point.
Sure. So where I want to be in 5 to 10 years, I obviously want to grow this platform, to as big as it can be. That's one of my biggest things. In my personal, my personal life, more so on the DJing side, I've just gotten to producing. I love music. I always love music. I don't know where it's going to go, but I want to be around people who have that energy that I have for music, and I want to work with them and I want to help them.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the front guy.
Right.
I don't have to be Michael Jackson. I can be Jermaine in the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can be Jermaine.
Right, you can be the cheerleader.
Yeah, I can be the cheerleader, but I want to help people get to where they want to go, not only musically, but in business too.
I mean, you can help that too. I mean, it's such a good crossover and intersection from business, leadership, music, because we know a lot of artists need that leadership and management.
And with music, man, I love, there's such a feeling with music that like you can't explain. Everyone loves music, right? But like connecting that with somebody else and sharing a vision and sharing that energy, it's magic, man. It's like a drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I crave people that have that energy and can be egoless in the room, but also add value to the vision of what we're trying to create in that moment, whether that be a song, songwriting, a beat, whatever. And so I just love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then give us 5 books. Or if you can name
I can name 5 books. I'm an avid reader. I'd say, honestly, I just want to say reading has given me another education.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have my master's degree.
Right.
I actually have an associate's in music production as well. I have all these degrees, but I mean...
We're going to put the con in all these degrees.
But I mean, for me, I had to force myself to become a reader.
Oh yeah,
I had
same.
to force myself, and it was started out just reading 20 minutes a night, and then I got 1 book done, and then 2 books, and then 3 books, and then I found books that were interesting me, and so I eventually got to a point where I liked reading, and it was like, great, this is great, it's easy.
You're learning so much.
I'm learning something, a lot of perspective, so I do want to advocate to anybody who's watching this or listening, pick up a book. It's so important, and it's so, it gives so much added value in just 1 book. And so, top books for me, my favorite authors is Robert Greene, and I read all his books up and down. He writes a lot of human behavior books.
Okay.
And so his books are The 48 Laws of Power, Mastery, The Laws of Human Nature, The Art of Seduction, all amazing books on human behavior. And that's such a huge component in business, to understand human behavior and what's being done to you and the manipulation and stuff like that. Those books may seem kind of evil, I will say, but... Well,
it just shows that, as human beings, we have power, and then we have to be able to understand, how those things work.
Yes. And so those, I would say they're books of, realistic realization about human behavior. Right. And so use that to your benefit, of course. And then my other favorite author is Malcolm Gladwell. He wrote The Tipping Point, David and Goliath, Blink. He's amazing. And what he does, if you don't know, is he takes really these social theories and makes these connections that you would never ever think of in these books, and they're just amazing that he can connect these things.
Wow.
And so, trying to think of a good entrepreneur book to give people. I think Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is a wonderful book for the entrepreneurial experience from start to bottom. I mean, if you don't know Phil Knight, he started Nike. And we all know Nike.
We all know Nike,
But this guy started out of the back of his car.
Right.
And he's built this global, shoe company. And so he has a great story, and it's so heartfelt. And I really appreciated that book, and it really showed the pain that you go through in entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. And then if, to wrap it up, if we could end with one quote or something that you feel like, could inspire others, that maybe has inspired you, or something that you have that.
Yeah, I think my quote's really simple, but I think it goes so far. And it's not that like grab you quote like, oh man, that's so touching. You know what I mean? It's not like that. And it's by Bruce Lee, and it's be like water. And I say that because you have to be fluid in life. I think as humans, and even in our adulthood, we get so rigid.
Yeah.
We get so
society
rigid.
kind of tells you got to be this way.
Yeah, and we make life very linear, and it's not linear at all. It's a roller coaster.
Right.
Business is like that. Music is like that. Life is like that. It's like that. And so, be like water. You have to be fluid and adaptable to situations. So when you lose that job, don't be so mad that you lost the job. Figure out how you can figure out your situation to make it better for you going forward. And it's all about moving forward.
Right. So, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you for doing this interview,
man.
Connecting.
Anything for you, man. Anything for you.
Let's go. We just got started. So I appreciate you guys for watching or listening to this. Till the next time. Peace.
See ya.
That was